Hello. Welcome to Adventures for Connection. My name is Tanya Powell. I am a soul having this human experience, and I just wanted to share a little bit more about me today. I definitely believe that I'm a oh, here we go. I've got a double of me. Hold on. Da, da, da. There we go. And there we go. I've just got one more to cut out. 1 second. Well, that was funny. Sorry, guys. I actually shut the browser. Oh, I entertain myself so well. So, Tanya with Adventures for Connection. Let's start this fresh. And I'm really grateful for you guys to be here. Hi, Sunny Days. I just wanted to explain a little bit about who I am and my beliefs in the world. And you can just take what resonates. And because we all have a very unique resonance within us. It's our own energy. There's only one of us. No two people have the same energy frequency and vibration, whatever you'd like to refer it to as. And so I came into this world and definitely as a child. And, we all come into this world and we're called in by love. We're called in by parents who want to have a child to love because they want love and children are love. They're pure love. And so we come in as these souls as love, and we come in and we're like, we're here, we love you. And then all of the sudden conditions start. It's not unconditional love. We don't get to be who we truly want to be and be that unconditional love because all of a sudden conditions are put on it. And so all of a sudden it's, oh, don't behave that way. You need to do it this way. So then the control comes in. And I don't blame anyone for this. It's part of the experience that our parents had too. They just didn't know any different. And so when we come in with that love and then conditions are put on, what happens is you have your brain, which is your CPU, and in the background there's a subconscious programming that is created from ages 1 up until 7. And then throughout your life, everything is run against that program. Now, your subconscious wants to keep you safe. So it wants to make sure that you don't stray too far from what it already knows, or it's going to give you that signal, that emotion that you get of fear or anxiety or uncertainty. And we have an opportunity, especially now, to start reprogramming and seeing things differently. And you can reprogram. And so if we can reprogram that subconscious and our CPU and lead with our heart, and let me explain a little bit more about this. So reprogramming the subconscious asks you to challenge what you believe, how you're behaving, how you're thinking, and your actions that you're doing. And so we're not the person thinking, that's not really you. And we're not the person speaking, that's not really you either. You're the observer of that. You are the consciousness. If energy can't be created or destroyed, and we're energy beings, what happens when this avatar is done, right? When it can no longer function. And let me tell you, there's ways to reset your energy, fix things. It's all energy. It's all around the beliefs and the system that you run in with yourself. And so as we go through life, we pick up more of these pieces and what we believe to be true. So you have to learn to challenge your own beliefs and reprogram your subconscious. So I believe that this consciousness that I am is part of what is your soul, is what is operating the body. It's the energy source of the body. And so when this avatar is done and we pass on, I don't believe in death. I believe in transition, because energy can't be created or destroyed. Maybe I'm challenging one of your beliefs right now. Ask me more if you are, right? I'm happy to chat about it. And so then we just move on as our consciousness, which is energy, and these eyes cannot see this energy. So therefore, when somebody passes, some people can see it. They can see the spirit leaving the body or the soul leaving the body. Or people who have near-death experiences, go watch a few. There's tons on YouTube. And as you watch those, you start to realize, oh, there is more than what I believe to be what I see in this physical reality. And isn't that interesting? But we've been led to believe, and the greatest fear within the conscious collective is death. And that's done on purpose so that you fear death. You're easier to manipulate, control, guide to certain directions with fear. And so right now, as the conscious collective is shifting, we are realizing that, I'm not going to be afraid of that anymore. And so I truly believe the best way to start to question this is around those areas and your beliefs. And so maybe you're having some friction with people in your lives. Maybe you're realizing your beliefs aren't what they used to be, and that's okay. And so it's good to question. It's also good to become the observer of what you're saying, what you're thinking, and then what you're doing. And also to not react to things, because when you react, you're using your energy in a push way versus holding on to it and then responding. And quite often that may mean in a conflict actually walking away. And that's okay, because you're actually doing it to preserve your own energy instead of giving it away or giving it out. And so I just would really love to encourage everyone to consider that there's another way of operating. And then let me tell you how I choose to operate and how I maybe unwound some of this. So I had a coach at one point for my business. I run a painting company, and I'm bridging that into Adventures for Connection right now. And so I'm operating in two worlds, so to speak, which is quite interesting, but I can handle it because that's the capacity. It's one of my gifts, is to be this really big container of not just information, but have this ability to hold quite a bit of energy. And every time I hit a point where it's like, oh, I need a reset, I go into a meditation, I go outside in nature. Spending time in nature and moving my body helps me shift through energy. And so some of you may find that works for you. Also, nature is very nurturing. And so I started with becoming the observer, and then I spent more time in nature. And by spending more time in nature, nature's, even the color of nature, the green in nature is 432 hertz, which is the frequency of healing for this body. Again, we're all energy. And so people often feel better getting your bare feet on the ground, because we're energy beings and we're electromagnetic, and we shift and ground ourselves on earth. The bottom of your feet have all those points, and I'm not going to show you my feet because they're kind of dirty, because I'm always grounding. But you have that connection with earth, and it actually will take negative things out of you, and you can request, please take anything that no longer serves me. And so that sitting and grounding in nature, 10, 15 minutes, barefoot, sand is amazing. Going to the beach, that's like you can imagine the sand and the warmth, and it actually kind of charges us a bit, right? It gives us a charge. Swimming in water. Oh, hello, Gary. Yes, do tell about your experience, of a near-death experience. I'd love to hear it. Hi, Garand. Hey, base boosted. Yeah, so being in nature was the next step. And then I moved on to diet. What am I feeding my avatar that is serving my avatar best? So, hello, Meadow Lab. Yes, hugs from Serbia. Awesome. I love it. Well, I know what a good time is for you then. And so what am I feeding my avatar so that it can best serve me, my soul? And your avatar knows what it needs. And it knows what it needs. You just have to ask it. And so if we look at what we're putting in, and let's start with water, high quality water. I'd love to just have nothing but underground spring water all the time. I don't really have that option for myself all the time. So I have that Santevia, Santevia, and it actually purifies the water. And then I put a amethyst, quite a big one of these. This is called an amethyst tooth. And I've got one of those in the bottom because allegedly, I can't prove it for fact, but I feel damn good. So there you go. I'm a science experiment. I'm always trying things on myself. And putting that in there actually helps the water to get inside the cells. And the other important thing about the water is to make, and also the Santevia remineralizes the water. Now there's many systems out there that you can look at for water, but the very best one is getting it direct from nature at a spring. So those of you with wells, congratulations, you generally must have very good water, I would say. I'd be surprised if you didn't, unless you're around some sort of contamination. So we have the good water. We have it being purified. We've added in, and some people put shungite in their water and really benefit from that. I also drink this crazy drink. This is turmeric, ginger, lemon juice, black pepper, and cayenne pepper mixed with water. And that's what I fast on most of the time. And yeah, that's working really well for me. And I'm hearing good results from other people. So it can be highly beneficial. Oh, Garand has well water. Wonderful. Good. I'm glad you do. Yes. And thank you. I love that people are willing to listen to me. I'm nothing without you. So there you go. All right. So back to the water. The other important thing is Celtic sea salt because it has minerals. Now, we've been told that salt is bad for us and we shouldn't have too much salt. I'm not going to take that on. Celtic sea salt is mineralized in the process. It's actually moist when you get it. And I put mine in a grinder. It grinds, but it's a bit sticky per se. And I just put some of that under my tongue, let it dissolve, and then drink some water. That is helping your body because base minerals are missing a lot from our soil. So where can we get those from? Another opportunity to get more minerals in your body is something called, now I have shungite on the brain, schizolite. And schizolite is volcanic minerals. So it's that earth and it's like burnt. So it's actually quite dense, but it's very full of minerals as well. Seaweed, dulse, that's full of minerals. Seawater, full of minerals. So you can swim in the ocean and you're going to absorb those minerals through your skin. Okay, so that was the next thing was the diet. Foods that have more higher vibration. So I tend to break my fast. My first thing I eat is something like a plum or fruit, an apple. Not a ton because it still has sugar in it, but enough that I am giving my body like quick energy, right? That digests quickly. And that gives your body a nice start to the day, whatever your day start is. Yes. And choose your battles. Yeah. Yes, absolutely. Choose your salt wisely, 100%. And I douse everything. What does that mean? For me, I can do it with my fingers because I put my consciousness down in get out of my head and I move, push myself down here and operate from here. So I'm out of my own way and not thinking. I have a dowsing rod that I use. And I ask, do I need some salt right now? No. Okay. Then don't take any. You can also hold food in your cold food in your hand and douse your body. So how do we douse our body? I'm going to show you sitting up. All right. So you can just sit really quietly, breathe, bring your attention down lower and say, please show me a yes. And my body automatically, I can feel it just swinging forward a bit. Thank you. Please show me a no. And my body just pulls back. I can literally feel it pulling back. And so you can hold food in your hand and do the same thing. I challenge you to try it. You can do it sitting down and try it that way. And you can also do it standing up. And so this is a good way for you to start take back your body. Take back control. Like you know for a fact for you because your body's telling you. Your body is the system that's helping you have this experience here. And so we want to respect it. I look at it as if I call it an avatar, right? It's my avatar. So it's my avatar for my consciousness. And so that I can have the best experience. I want to take good care of it. And so also going through and learning about different foods. One for me, a big one is wheat, because wheat is no longer a natural grain. It has been hybridized and manipulated to grow faster, produce more, and therefore the nutrients are less. But not only that, it's got some stuff in there that our bodies, on the whole, most bodies don't like. And so I encourage you, if you were to do a couple things, one would be to add more water to your diet, add some more fresh vegetables and fruit, and try and take away wheat, try and take away dairy, because again, unless it's coming direct from a cow on a farm that you know is really good, I don't emphatically trust what's on the market these days. And so, and in my opinion, yes, some dairy is beautiful. If you're regularly drinking milk, cow's milk is for baby cows. So, and I'll just leave that there. I'm not saying don't, but it has to be grass-fed and like coming direct from the farmer. And to me, it's a treat to have that grass-fed butter or to have, and I still have it. I'll occasionally have cheese, just not very often. But if you cut these things out at first and then see how you feel, you will. Coconut milk is good, and absolutely, I do coconut milk with chia, and I'll get to that for sure. And so the other one is cutting out wheat, dairy, sugar, especially white processed sugar. Maple syrup's good. Honey's good. I don't tend to use a lot of sugars and stuff, but I will use cane sugar. So something that isn't processed. We need to pull away from these processed things because we don't know for a fact what's happening in the process to those things. And so I would love to encourage you to try that. And then legumes, peanut butter. It's my understanding that peanut butter is not the best for us, so I use almond butter. But if you cut out wheat, dairy, sugar, and legumes for even a month, better 3 months, and see how you feel. Our gut, our microbiome requires certain up to 30 different types of foods per week. So different range of stuff. But it also requires that we don't add more things that has to fight off per se, or process that's not natural. So the more natural we can be, the better. Also, soy is another one that's been manipulated quite a bit. So things that I have added. So what do I eat? Let's go to that. Oh, let me go back to the gut for a second. So the microbiome and adding these good things and adding in the salt, you're feeding your microbiome what it needs. It is your second brain. So if you are feeling anxiety, depression, frustration, anger, a lot of that can stem from an imbalanced microbiome in your gut. And so if you cut these things out, and alcohol, do not drink alcohol during this time, please. I'm not saying don't have it. I'm just saying just avoid it for right now. And give yourself a test. Play with yourself. Play with the idea of releasing these things from you, taking it all out, and I bet you will have more clarity. You will sleep better. You will have less anxiety, depression, frustration, and anger. You won't be as reactive. And that is like a baseline for being able to operate in a new way. And it's huge. It's so big. I can't even, it's hard to explain the feeling, but it went from, especially I quit drinking alcohol probably a year and a half ago. And it was almost like a bit of a switch went off. It was like, we need to do this, this, and this. And so I was doing really good with nature. I was still exercising. I do lighter exercises, things like Pilates. I haven't been on my mountain bike very much, which is interesting. I do a lot of hiking in nature. And I like to do things, and I do a lot of stretching and really light weights at home, and not for an hour, and no more HIIT workouts, because it puts your body into fight or flight. So it especially when you hit a certain age, younger people seem to, they have a different capacity and a different need. So I'm speaking strictly for myself. Again, take what resonates, and what doesn't, it's okay. I'm just sharing my experience. And so in doing these changes for myself, for me, all of a sudden I had new perspectives on things. And I've always been a bit of a black sheep. I've always kind of gone the other direction. I've always been curious if everybody's going this way, what's over here? Well, why do I have to do it that way? like I was an employee for a long time, but only in businesses that actually allowed me full freedom. Like I did a lot of retail for years and years and years where I was the manager, the buyer, and the merchandiser and doing sales and having staff under me. And so, but they never told me you need to do this. Because as soon as somebody told me how to do something, I was like, oh yeah, nope, I'm the boss of me. So that's something that's been in me for a long time, which is interesting. So going back to the food and the exercise, okay, I'm now at this new baseline. And and then you start to learn more about energy and being an energy being. I did a Reiki class, I did a freedom from self-sabotage program coaching class actually, so I've got quite a bit of intel on that. Except he was still kind of selling fear at the end of the day. Oh, this is coming, this is coming. So I was like, no, that's not for me. So you have to start pulling away from what doesn't work for you and giving your energy to what does work for you or what you do want in your life. And it's not about chasing things. It's about sitting in your energy and having this resonance within you. And people start to go, what are you doing differently? You've changed. You're calmer. I used to be the loudest person in the room, and now quite often I'll be the quietest one when I'm sitting back and just being me and observing. And I find it really interesting because you can start to read the energy. I started definitely quantum and hooking up with Serafina, who's also, I call it soul family. We've done this before together. Norma, who is base boosted on here. Norma and I are quite connected as we've agreed in this lifetime to work together. And the mission is to help the collective consciousness. You know something's wrong in this world right now. You know it's not the same as it used to be. The challenge for you is, what are you going to change? What are you going to do differently as this shifts? And you're finding you've got health issues. You don't understand what's going on. Maybe you're frustrated. Maybe you're wondering, why am I at this job? Why am I with this person? These things are all coming up because the energies right now is, get this. So Mother Nature, Earth, is an energy system, and we're going through a photon belt. And at the same time, the Earth is vibrating at a higher frequency. And this is something that occurs. And we happen to be at this magical time to be here, to be part of this transition. And the collective consciousness, we create our reality. We each individually create our reality. And then we have a collective consciousness that creates reality. And when you shift your energy, the energy around you has to shift. And this is where I had people like breaking up with me, girlfriends. I was like, okay. Because they didn't understand my energy anymore and it wasn't working for them anymore. And this is part of the process. Or you have family members that you're no longer in contact with. This is part of the process. The more you release what is not working for you, the more room you leave for good things to come in that is working for you. Hello, Lou. From Australia. Awesome. So you are the driver of this. Now you just need maybe some new tips or new manual to help you operate in this new way. Because the opposite of that and staying back and trying to hold the resonance you've had your entire life is keeping you at a lower level energy. And the only way to operate in that energy is it's like you're being almost like strangled or frustrated or reactive. Why is this happening to me? Are you a victim? And so let's talk about that for a minute. There's a triangle. We have the victim, we have the rescuer, and we have what I like to call the perpetrator, or the one that's causing the victim. And so we've all played in this triangle because it was set up this way as part of our conditioning. And we can talk about why the conditioning, but I'm not going to do that today. So I'm happy to chat further. If you guys want to have conversations about specific things or have any questions, put it in the chat. I'm happy to talk on any subject. Absolutely. On most subjects within reason. And so let's talk about that triangle because I've definitely played the victim. Why are they doing that to me? Oh, I don't understand. Why are they doing that to me? Right? Why are they behaving that way? And when you're the perpetrator, you're the one blaming somebody else for how you're feeling. Or they're the one that put something on you. What's a good one? You're blaming your boss for what you don't get, or you're blaming your parents for how you were raised, right? Blaming outside means you're playing the victim. What if when your energy goes out, and like a vibration in this world, this is what happens, and it comes back to you, you're creating your own reality. So whatever you're putting out, a triangle could be a square. Tell me more, Gary. Whatever you're putting out is coming back to you. So the more you're blaming something, it's the same as, oh, I stubbed my toe this morning. Now I got 2 more things to happen. That thing's happened in 3s. That's a belief. That's a manifestation. What you're saying, what you're thinking, and what you're doing are all manifestations. So that's why I always say, sit back a bit, be the observer, be cautious and not cautious, be aware of where you're giving and putting your energy. And so we can look at that. And then there's the rescuer. Oh, I have that too. I would rescue people. I can help you with that because you think that's what being a good friend does, or being a good parent does, or being a good daughter does. But what it does, it allows them to source outside themselves for a solution. And in reality, it's their experience they're going through. And one could just sit and hold space, which means unconditional love for where they're at, and let them speak. When two or more people speak, but when you're having a conversation with someone and you become the listener and they feel heard, your hearts start to connect. And we can talk about the heart. We're going to save that one for tomorrow with Norma. And your hearts can connect. And now, because they're feeling heard, they're going to listen to what you have to say. Now, if you're both escalated and on fire and fire just makes more fire. And yeah, we can get rid of that one. So, right? And so even, and being that perpetrator, there's a lot in the construct right now, and a lot of people that are maybe narcissists or emasculated men, right? There's whole conversations that can be happening around that. So it's a matter of accepting everyone where they're at and realizing they're having their own experience, and that you don't have to rescue. You don't have to play the victim. You can go, okay, why is this happening for me? I may not know in the moment, but my waving the arms in the air and running around sky is falling is not going to help me. What will help me is maybe writing it out. Why is this? What is going on for me right now? What is happening for me right now? And checking into that experience and seeing what's going on for you there. And quite often it could be months later, days later, years later that you go, oh, that's why that happened. Oh, thank goodness that happened, because I wouldn't be where I was now without the experience I've had. Yes, always and always. I no longer choose to play with the triangle. I choose to look within. Exactly. And it could, yes, choose not to be a victim, be a survivor. What does that mean to you, Gary? What does being a survivor mean? I would actually not want to make it a square, because you'd have the triangle, but you're stepping outside of the triangle, right? But quite often to me, if I would say, oh, I'm a survivor, yes, I am, because I've survived everything I have to date. What does that mean? I don't have much to fear about the future because I've survived everything until now. So, and why would I be afraid of the future? Because the future is not here yet, so to speak, right? It's out there. What is there to fear? Because it hasn't happened and I can't control it. And then if I'm stuck in the past about things I've done or others have done to me, then I'm likely depressed. And I can't change that, but I can energetically go back and change it. And we'll chat about that more tomorrow too. There's a way to go back and shift your timeline, so to speak, or every energy is like just playing along kind of side by side on these centers. And so there's a beautiful way to play with that. I wanted to jump back to the food and the coconut milk for a second. So what I do is I take a can of coconut milk and I put chia seeds in it, and I squeeze some lemon juice in it and let that sit overnight. And then I put that into my shakes. So yeah, coconut milk's good. It is really quite fatty as well. So depending on what you're trying to do for your body. But remember, fat feeds the brain. But when you have an excess of it, it will get stored on your body. And so I'm just conscious of that. As well, there's avocado is really good. And so let's go back to the food, because I kind of forgot to tell you what I really do eat. All right, I eat that mixture, the chia seeds. I use methylene blue, which is a very beautiful product. And I'll do a specific post just on that. And you have to be careful because it really stains. I have my whole mouth blue. If anyone's seen my post on Facebook, my whole mouth goes blue, and I'm laughing in the mirror at myself because right on the packaging, be very careful, it stains. It's basically a base for dye, but it really helps with the cells. And so I'm on this mission to get my cells in the best shape as possible. Yeah, absolutely. Pretty fun. I can laugh at myself so well. I do some pretty funny things. So I do a shake with that chia seed mix, and I add usually blueberries, sometimes raspberries. They're generally frozen, so it's colder. Sometimes I add half an avocado to that, depending on if that's a main meal or just trying to get my nutrients. I use fish collagen. That's what I like. And then I also add in there sometimes a little bit of maple syrup. Oh, and greens. So chlorophyll and spirulina. So I'm pretty big on getting those base nutrients because I feel, again, that we're not getting enough nutrients from our food. That's just me. A lot of people have different beliefs that we can energetically take it on. For me, I notice a difference in how I feel, and that's all we can all do. How does this make me feel? How does this make me feel? So when you start to pay attention to how you feel, then you can start to make different decisions. I know for a fact, if I eat a big fat white loaf of bread or have a sandwich I'm done. I got to go have a nap. I'm like, can't move. If I have a lettuce wrap with all the veggies in it, I'm good to go. I'm not putting all my energy into my digestion. So same with pasta, same with there's so much that doesn't work for me. So what does work for me? I eat chicken and I get it right from the farmer. I will eat eggs and I get it right from the farmer. I do grass-fed beef on occasion and I get it right from the farmer. I literally scouted out to find these people that I'm like, okay, I like what you're doing. I see what's going on here. And so those are my base proteins. My child is definitely, she's 17, craves red meat. So I don't eat it all the time, but I make sure she gets what she craves. She was the kid that said, I'm craving strawberries. No problem. She would eat strawberries for like a week and then it would be something else. So she's intuitively listening to her body. What does her body want? And so I eat salads. I like romaine because romaine lettuce has a lot of moisture in it. Cucumbers, I'm huge on cucumbers. One of my favorite things to nourish, again, a huge moisture content. So you're getting fluids in a different way that your cells can use in a different way. I definitely eat. So I have Chef Agathe. She happens to live in my area. So non-wheat, if I want seed crackers or that pizza base that she does, I pick those things up from her and I'll get some ingredients from her and then add my own in. So I definitely do that. I like to make my own salsas. I love salsas. I will make my own nutritional yeast is the big one for me. If I'm going to have any nutritional yeast, I don't eat much rice. So I'm really off those bases. I'll do sweet potatoes. I will do yams, occasionally potatoes, especially those new little ones, and a variety of vegetables. But I'm really big on the protein and veg and then a little bit of carb. Now, carbs are also things like broccoli. Lots of vegetables have carbs. It doesn't mean that you have to be having bread, cereal, right? Or pasta. That's not what carbs necessarily mean. So it does take some education, but you know what? I would just say follow your intuition, do one thing at a time, and do a little bit every day. And then you can get better and better and better. Or 45 years later, you lay the foundations for your future. Yeah, absolutely, Gary. And so now I've come to this point where my energy is better and I'm more connected. So all this grounding I've done, I'm a very, very, very grounded person, but I've also got my crown chakra wide open. What does that mean? It means that this energy center is operating well and that I'm very connected. I just have this knowing. I know somebody can say something like, no, that's not true for me. I just know right away. And I think I've always had it. I just wasn't aware of what it was. And I exercised it as my free will. And so it's quite beautiful to come into more messaging, more visuals with my eyes closed in meditation, more connection with what's I would call. So if you look at it, this is the third density, and we're going up in this density layers. And above all of this is this source consciousness, which I believe we come from. Some people call it God. and that the divine consciousness is part of that and birthed us all as souls, that we have this capacity to stay connected with our, call it oversoul, call it higher being, whatever you want to call it, higher self, some people call it. I just want you to be aware that we have part of our soul here because our whole soul couldn't fit into this avatar. And we're at this time and place right now, and we're going to be able to get all of us back from different timelines, call them past lives, call them whatever. To me, they're timelines that run at different frequencies. And so by getting all and collecting those, and we're doing that at night, we're collecting more of us back, so that at this point, on this time, on this planet, is the first time in human history that the planet is raising in frequency and moving up in dimensions, as we say, or levels, or whatever you would like to call it. And as we're moving up, we're being pulled, whether we like it or not, to make a choice here. Are we going to go with, or are we going to choose to stay on this lower level frequency? Either one's okay. I don't judge anyone for what they decide or where they would like to go. But what I would like to say is that the first time in human history that we are going to ascend into another dimension, not just as a soul, but we're going to be able to take this body with us. And so what does that mean? It means that this junk DNA within us, which there's no such thing as junk in this created avatar, has this opportunity to go from a carbon base into a crystalline base, which means we're going to need less food. We're going to eat less. You're probably feeling a lot of discombobulation within the body, possibly. And even then, some weeks I need napidations, my little nap with a meditation in it, or I need to get outside and get out in nature, whatever your body's calling for you to do. But as this happens and moves forward, this is the first time we've done it with the body. Now there's a ton more to this, and I'll be sharing it as we go along. But I didn't want to go too deep into that today, but just look at it as this beautiful opportunity. How exciting is that? That just gets me vibrating because I'm very excited about that. And so I know my mission at this time, my purpose, is to manage my own energy. And if we so choose, yes, if we so choose to take this body with us, absolutely, Gary. Manage my own energy and use my throat chakra, my voice, my resonance to help others go through this process. And so as I'm moving forward and transitioning out of the Powell painting and into this, and just like waves of your life and the energy, we have this beautiful opportunity to shift things for us, not to us, but for us. Yeah, let's go. Let's go. Yeah. And I don't think it's going to be a snap of the fingers and it's going to happen. I think it's going to be a little more gradual than that, and it'll unfold the way it should. There's nothing to fear. There's nothing to worry about. We're not worried about anybody being left behind. There will be a choice point. And that choice point is happening right now as we speak. And you can probably tell by looking at people or interacting with them, oh, I know what choice you're making, and that's okay. Because in fact, we need all the layers. So not everyone is like older souls, so to speak, hasn't been through this process. Oldest souls choose the hardest paths to have this most soul growth in this lifetime right now, so that we can step in and do this, so that we can expand even more. I don't like to call it ascension. I call it expansion. So if we can expand further. So what would you like to expand into? What would you like to be doing? Ask these questions. Ask for help. You would be surprised where an answer might come from. Oh, I'm really struggling with this. Can I have some help with this, please? Show me what I need to do. And then, oh, it'd be great if this was just resolved. Like writing out a question, right? And asking. Yeah. Oh, thanks, Gary. So, sweet sister, your truth is moving me to tears. Magnificent energy. Yeah. I'm vibrating these days, like really strongly. It's beautiful. And it's since I came back from Shasta, and we broke our hearts open, like in a good way, to just like, oh, there's another level to this. And so I liken this whole thing to, okay, so if we're all souls having a human experience, and we've done it before, and we go through a veil of forgetting as we come into this construct, if you want to call it that. It's still nature, it's still energy, it's still beautiful. I'm not saying, oh, we're in a simulation, it doesn't matter. I'm saying we've got everything we need within this body and on this earth for anything. All the food, all the water, all the support from Mother Nature. We have everything we need here. And we have this beautiful opportunity to tap into who we truly are and what we would like to see happening on this next level. And so, if this is a game, and if we come in and we go through this veil of forgetting, so we have the most soul expansion, because if we come in knowing, and if you ask a child, the child still knows some, but by age 7, it's kind of going away, if not earlier, because they're being conditioned. But a lot come in and say, oh yeah, I'm grandma so-and-so, right? I remember when you were, they talk about the family as if they're a specific person, and that's true. So it's soul coming back in to play again. And so maybe it was somebody, maybe you had a miscarriage, and that soul can come back in again. And so if you start to think of it that way, and it's like, oh, it's so interesting. But if that's true, in fact, then, and we don't have to fear death, and we just can play in this realm, what do you want to create? How do you want to play? And that's how I'm looking at this. And we get these clues and these confirmations and synchronicities. And we run into people who give us information. It's like, oh, yeah, that rings so true for me. Oh, wow. And that's why I created Adventures for Connection. It's about getting connected with who you are. And then it's about finding a community of like-minded people to come and hang out and create with. And isn't that just the best thing in the world? And we're going to travel around the world and do sacred sites where there's energy points and energy centers that we can have fun at. That's what I've created. Absolutely. Oh, yes, new souls are so excited to come in at this time. You see this older generation starting to check out all the baby boomers. They really want to come back in. And this was their soul path. We also we have exit points. And rather be in this body that's not serving them so well, they're going to go out and get a new avatar and come back in. And so there's this beautiful opportunity right now. All right. So what do you want to create? What do you want to do? I have a really big special on right now in my opinion, if anybody here is from BC or hears this, for Vedette Lake, 66666, we're taking numbers back. I'm claiming that number back. And we're going to do that for the special for the 15th, 16th, 17th, and coming home on the 18th. We often have a ride for you. It's David Pills and myself. It includes all your food, the accommodation. It does not include the mushroom journey. That's an extra $100, but you're welcome for that. There's a lake there. There's the center of the universe, which is an energy vortex there. And you're going to have some insights, intuitions, some healings. I'm there to guide you as well. And I can help your body vibrate at a higher frequency so that you can see what it feels like, so that you too can choose that frequency. And that's what I'm doing right now. I am radiating out love and energy to show you a vibration that you too can have. And we can get those together and make it happen, and then teach you how to maintain that resonance. Because we've got this dichotomy right now of what's going on in the world and what's happening in your personal life. And it has a lot of people in this, they're in a fight or flight mode. They're in survival mode. Let's get out of that survival mode. Ah, that feels so much better. This resonance feels better. And when you pull out of survival mode and you work on yourself, your entire life will change. Then you go into creator mode and you get to create your reality. And that's beautiful too. All right. So that's the deck. That's a long weekend special only. It's a short time, and then it goes back up to $888. And that's Canadian, by the way. So it's a very good value. It includes a beautiful, nutritious food. It includes lots of exploration. And we just follow, what does this group need? And we literally, don't come with like, I expect this. You come with, I wonder what magic's going to happen. And the magic unfolds. Okay. And then we have Egypt coming up in October. And if you're interested in that, please ask more. But Seraphina and I are going to Egypt. And I have no fear. Egypt is so safe. I have no fear about what's coming up. It doesn't exist in my world. You can choose your reality. And that's what we're here to do right now. So I'm going to send you all lots of love. Yes, and take back your color. You can take back everything. We're taking back everything right now. I choose my reality. Yeah. I'm so grateful that you joined me today. Seriously. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. And I look forward to much more of this connection, because this is really what I love to do. This is what I'm being called to do. And so you'll see me playing with other souls that have a similar vibrancy to me, vibration, so that we can play together. And so we're on tomorrow at 1:00, right here, wherever you're watching on the same channels. We're on at 1:00 to talk about, hi, Cindy, to talk about the quantum field and the 369 and the looping and how that works. And Norma's got the best descriptions, who's base boosted on here. And we also have Joy joining us. And who wouldn't want to have Joy joining you? So we're thrilled about that. So we're looking forward to it. And until then, I'm sending you lots of love. Have a beautiful, beautiful Friday. And I hope I see you tomorrow. Yeah, I'm going to end this up now. Bye, guys. I love you.